out all like the bad shit that was at the start of the episode, this way, even in the like body.
Okay, now for real, it's working, right, guys? Right,
Right, guys?
right.
Right?
No,
Okay, I
no,
should like.
now we're good. Now we're good. See.
Okay. We go to like fucking Daybreak and see what you got. Oh, I think this one's live.
Okay, there you go.
I should fucking sub to this channel.
Which one?
Like your podcast channel. Oh, it's still saying like unable to connect to a chat. Is this one like? Is this one running or not?
Just give it a minute.
Yeah, it seems to be working.
Yeah, it works now. See?
Yeah, okay, I'll just pop out this chat again.
There you go. Okay,
nice.
let's repeat. Let's do the schizo move and repeat what was said before, I suppose. So
yeah, but I mean, they didn't hear what you said before, so it's not schizo to them. Instead, I said schizo.
For those watching in context, we did a try 5 minutes ago, but my mic wasn't working, so only Saka was being heard. Okay, so we had to retry this whole thing.
Yeah,
so,
we're just giving people the authentic Dampa experience.
Of course,
you know
of
how
course.
it is.
Well, hello everyone, welcome to the Beat Podcast. I'm Pete, this is Zakamutt. We met each other at the orphanage. We bully people for a living in this community. Saka is a moderator for Fuwanovel. He's worked on Muramasa 2. That Love Live game, I don't know the name about anymore. At this point.
Yeah, Makifest,
of course, worldwide known, and other shit. Okay, Shinimasu, of course. How could I forget?
Yeah, Shinimasu is good.
Yeah, we've known each other for 7/8 years. We are not sure. We don't remember. We don't care. So at this point, we're like an old couple. We're tired of each other, but we are here because we need content and to feed ourselves.
Yeah, we're just going through emotions, telling each other like your mom gay to each other. That's how we communicate.
True.
No information passes through except like the rituals.
Exactly. Saka is the only person as well who I will admit that he's the only person I allow to roast my work. I get mad, but I allow it, so it happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your introduction, Saka. Just pop off, bro. Just do the podcast for me, and I'm gone.
Okay. Let's see. Let's start with like the questions. Host be guest Zakamutt. Oh, and here we have like the thing in the podcast document where you copy it and it has fucking Anje's information.
Shut up. No. We don't talk about that.
Okay, we don't.
I don't reuse documents at all.
Okay, but what should we start talking about?
I mean, sure. Let's do the generic meme of what are your favorite visual novels, Saka? I'm sure you love them.
Oh yeah. I definitely don't hate all visual novels. No, actually, I don't. I do like visual novels. I mean, it feels like a cope because I haven't read that many recently. But I did read some across channel and some of an obscure doujin game that nobody would know about. But that's just unusual. But I have read VNs this year, so I'm allowed to be on this podcast. Okay.
Of course.
But more importantly, like I've done like fan translation for like quite a few different projects. Many of them not completed, but you know how it is.
It's okay.
And
it's okay. That makes it more legitimate, even. It's based.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. And like apart from like the things that I actually translate, I like have a tendency to like go to a group and be like, hey, I could help you. Ask me Japanese questions or like I don't know, editing questions, translation questions, and like sometimes people actually let me do that, and their translation get better in my opinion, but I may be wrong. Probably not though. I'm always right.
Probably not. I mean, look, it depends, right? But you were gonna tell me your 3 favorite visuals, Saka. Come on, you went. You went in a schizo. You went in a schizo moment and lost the plot.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's just the voices keep calling me, telling me to do. I don't know. So anyway, let's go to the fucking top of like my VNDB. I always consult my VNDB. I'm very autistic about this. I like try to rank things accurately. So like, if it's on top of my VNDB, it is actually my best visual novel, at least on enjoyment. So what you've got there is. What's called the Shinsetsu Mahou Shoujo. Except on VNDB, it'll just say fucking Mahou Shoujo. because that was the original title. It's very original, very easy to search for, not dumb at all. Literally call your game Mahou Shoujo. I'm sure people will be able to know what the fuck you're talking about when you're using one of the most fucking common terms in the fucking language. I don't know. Anyway, Shinsetsu Mahou Shoujo is a remake of that, which makes it suck less. It still sucks, like the engine. But despite the fact that the engine sucks, the actual game in it is pretty good. So it's an SRPG, which, if you're not familiar, it means that it's kind of has gameplay like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics or something like that. It doesn't
Based.
have like permadeath and shit, so it's not. So don't think of it as actual good Fire Emblems. I haven't played Fire Emblem. I'm just memeing, but yeah, it's like one of those. You control a lot of characters on a map, and you have to like strategically own the enemies, or you get owned by them. Also, that's also possible. But yeah, so apart from that gameplay, which has every magical girl in the story, and like depending on the story itself, like you get different units, so you have to plan very like detailed if you want to be autistic about it, because literally every scenario is going to be different. Well, a few of the early ones are really boring because you basically can't do anything different, but most of them aren't like that.
I've actually heard
Anyway,
that game is Mugi approved. JOP.
yeah,
It's a JOP
I'm go-
shrine game, right?
yeah,
What's the
yeah.
reason for that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just because, like, in part it's because it's good, right? But in part, I think probably like some of the people that like obscure games liked it, and then it got brought into the elitist circle around Mugi, and then like, because those places are a bit hive-mindy, it ended up with like everyone playing it. But I mean, it is actually good and not particularly pretentious, so I think it's actually fine. Like the thing about those elitist circles, it's like, yeah, they can be annoying, and sometimes they will be like, sometimes the hive mind will like actually make people pretend to like a game that may not be very good. Seabed, but anyway. Oh god, a seabed. Anyway, but yeah, a lot of the time the recommendations are actually good, especially if you've read like enough visual novels that you're a bit of a more of a connoisseur of a genre, and you're more on their mindset. But yeah, I think it's good, and it's like interesting enough. It's like not good for like the usual like reasons that someone in that circle would like it. You're gonna say something?
No, no. I was looking at the comments and my voice zero said, "I like how the average character age of that game is 12 or 13."
Oh yeah, it's actually hilarious. Like the current sprites don't really look that young, I would say. But I mean, anime be anime, I guess.
I swear she
It-
looks 16, officer.
I think what we well, it's a well, like the artist actually like likes drawing Yona shit, but he doesn't put it like in the game except like a bit when like a character is like really damaged. There will be a hint of that in it, but there's no actual like really porny things in the game. However, there is like a really young girl that, that has like a very exposed outfit, which is quite entertaining. Well, maybe not to certain Western tastes, but I mean, we don't talk about those. I don't care about them. Anyway,
True.
so apart from the like gameplay, which I've been spurging out for like ages about, there's also like a story portion. So basically, the base story is not that complicated. It's like there are magical girls that are getting turned into magical girls from normal girls by some alien, some good alien, we may presume, but injects them. It hurts very much, but then they become a magical girl who can fight monsters that are like superhumanly strong. Okay, nothing too crazy yet. And the thing is, Mahou Shoujo in many ways isn't crazy, but what it does, it just brings a lot of depth and content and character to all of these, and has strong like emotional moments in the story that matter. And you could say that I think it was actually released in a time where like you can't really call it Madoka inspired. It's like around that time too, but it does have like a bit of a darkness you would see in Madoka. So, if you like Madoka, it is like a good thing to look at. But in general, it's just I would say that it just goes further and does more and has more breadth and like everything. It like and it's really long too, which is kind of needs to be. It like tells a fairly complicated story in the end with like quite a few twists and stuff, and lots of I don't know. It's like it's just good. Like that's the hard part. Like there's no particular selling part except everything is just done well and like in good detail.
Yeah, it's good writing and mechanics that are not relatively
Yeah, yeah.
cancer, right? I would say,
Mm.
apart from the mechanic of of pressing enter.
Yeah, well, I mean, the engine for it is unfortunately like garbage. Like, you literally can't save in a story section. You have to go to a battle to save, which admittedly, for me, I think it helped with finishing the game because I would like for have to go to a battle, and then there's like gameplay, which feels different, and then you have to go to a battle again to save, but it's not good. And like if you press escape at any point, it instant closes the game. No asking, no questions. You just don't press escape.
Based.
It has problems.
Yeah, it sounds based to me, man.
Yeah, and it also takes like 30 minutes to start up, except if you have like Windows Defender normally, because it takes one minute because Windows Defender is fucked and like scans it for like double the time. I don't know. It's like insane.
So
But this
you're an old game enjoyer. I can assume, right? You're not much of a new game person. I can assume,
I
or
mean, in part of that is just like I haven't really had a good gaming setup for a long time. But I mean, I can definitely enjoy like old games too. I have like in my past, like when I was like a kid, I would like emulate as I would like emulate like Super Nintendo games and shit. You know, I mean, partly because they didn't cost money, but also because I enjoyed them. So like, I played like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 2 and all that shit. Well, a lot of the time for the long RPGs, like I didn't actually finish them because I have problems.
oh no, but I meant more of a like visual novel perspective. You know, like you don't enjoy
Oh
newer visual novels because you don't read them, right? Like fuck those.
no, I don't think I'd really like agree with that. It's just that when you're picking something, you're not necessarily gonna pick the newest one because like the oldest one might be just as good. And like, I don't really care that much about graphics, which I guess is, I guess it's kind of a thing with some people who are like they care a lot about the graphics. I really do not. I mean, I play like old ass doujin game at like 800 by 600 resolution with like artists that clearly do not know how to draw anything, and like it's fine.
Well, some of them know how to draw. I mean, the one you are
Okay.
currently translating or have been translating for many
Oh
years
yeah,
now.
yeah,
That
yeah. She knows
that
how
was
to
not half
draw.
bad, man. It's pretty.
Well, I said she, but I literally do not know a gender. I may never.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be a she. Let's be real here for a
Yeah, I'm gonna be
moment.
honest. It's probably a she. But yeah. So
Uh,
that's like one, but I already spoke about it for ages. I don't know if you want to do another.
no, no, just tell me the two other games you know that you like,
Okay.
and because I specifically asked why is it coming, right? So there's a
Yeah,
reason
yeah,
behind why you over explain, which is fine.
yeah, yeah. So the second one I have at the 10 here is and actually not really obscure voicing game, but it might be like a lot of people that are into visual novels might not be aware of this because it's first of all English original, and second of all it's like made in RPG Maker. I just posted it. Oh,
Actual
let's see.
sunlight.
Yeah, let's. I'll post it in the stream chat because screw you. So it's called Actual Sunlight, and it's about a dude that has depression. It was very relatable to me when I was like 24, 25. I must say, and it's probably not going to be as relatable now because I'm not as fucking depressed. But it was like it felt like a really cutting way of like describing a lot of how I felt at that time. And like, also, just the writing is just actually really good. Like, not even good for an EVM, just actually good normally. This guy was like an actual real writer, like, which kind of makes sense. So you get a lot of like really fun screens. We're like, why would you kill yourself when you can masturbate? Except they're said in a much funnier way. So yeah, I read this one fairly early in my career, and it's just damn, it is really well written and intense, and like it doesn't waste time. Unlike many visual novels that do that. I don't like that. Some people seem to do, but I don't.
It's kind of funny how the name of the guy is Evan Winter. You know,
Oh yeah.
the fun with Resident Evil and everything, but.
Oh,
Yeah, the Resident Evil. I think the Resident Evil guy, the one of the new series, right? He's Evan Winters, right? I'm pretty sure.
oh, I see. Yeah,
That's
I
why.
really do not keep up with gaming news. I wouldn't know.
I'm not sure either, but I know it's Winters as a surname. I'm just not sure if
I
Evan is
see.
the first name, but I'm convinced it has to be. So that's why I
Oh
find it
yeah,
funny.
it definitely could be. It could be.
So actual sunlight is your second 10. Okay, okay. What about?
Yeah, yeah,
Give me a third one. Give me a third one.
yeah. I'll just say ever 17 because it's like the highest. The one after is rewrite, but it's lower score. So I'll say ever 17. It's one of the it's one of the first things that I read in my reading career. But I think it would hold up decently well, even if I read it now. A lot of people don't like the pacing in Ever 17, but I personally think it's like fine. Like it works. Oh, and we're getting confirmation from the chat that it's actually Ethan Winters, not Evan. So
Oh, it's
clearly we're
Ethan. Ah, damn it. Close.
unfortunate. It's
Close.
still close though, still close. But yeah, Ever 17. So the base story is if you're only older person in the community, you probably know this, but like it's like 3, 4 people I think that are trapped in like an undersea amusement park, and they're like trying desperately to survive. Like there's dangers of flooding and horrible things are happening, and then there's like even deeper mysteries that come in later, which can be a little bit mind bending because this is Uchikoshi that we're talking about. However, he is tempered by having Nakazawa as the director, which means that he doesn't go off and just write bullshit. He actually has like a more justified story, and it actually ties itself up well in the end, in the true route, which isn't really as common in Uchikoshi games. It tends to leave things more open, especially in especially in Remember 11, which is like very much the opposite to Ever 17, and like how complete the story feels without you getting incredibly autistic and like trying to figure everything out on your own. But yeah, Ever 17 is just a good multiple route mystery with a powerful true route, and that is my fetish. That is my fetish, so that's why it's up there.
And the fourth one is of course Makifes. Obviously.
Yeah, naturally, obviously, Maki
What
Fest.
a masterpiece of a game. Yeah, no, I've actually never read any Kid games. Just for reference, Kid is in the name of the company, okay, that produced Tower
Yeah,
17. So,
yeah. I think you would say it like KID because it's short for Kindle Imagine Develop or some shit. Classic Japanese attempt at English.
yeah, it's called Kindle Imagine Develop Indeed. It says here.
Ugh, I remember everything perfectly.
Insane. That's why you are the historian of the community, of course.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, no, those are very good choices. I mean, look, most of the first readings that we do at the beginning
Yeah.
tend to be our favorites.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
it makes sense why Ever 17 being one of your first reads could be one of your favorites. I mean, I'm not saying it's a rule or anything, but
No, no, I get it. I get it. I mean,
I don't know. Like one of my first reads was leaving. God, one of my first readings was a profile. I remember it was from
oh,
Akatsuki Works, I think, or Akabe Soft, too.
oh yeah,
I think it was Akabe Soft too. It was so dog shit, so garbage. I swear to God.
yeah,
Like it was my first visual novel. Never again, dude. It was also an X-ray translation. Although I'm pretty sure I didn't care back in the day too much
yeah.
about that. And yeah, it was just a terrible experience. But then I read Karno Shoujo, and that's one of my top rated visual novels of all time. Right?
Oh,
So
nice, nice.
yeah, the translation is super good, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard like the translator on that is like good. The only
Yeah.
problem with this is like I'm never going to fucking read it because I refuse to follow a walkthrough for every fucking thing I do in the game.
True. Although, dude, I've been trying to look for a translator for ages now. I have no clue who did that. I know who edited that, but I don't know who translated that.
Oh, it's like apoptosis, I think.
Just send me a link later, I guess.
I mean,
It
yeah,
was it was a yeah it was a really enjoyable experience. In fact, I would argue it's still one of the best translated things I've read.
yeah.
Although I
Oh,
barely read translated stuff nowadays, unfortunately.
yeah. Who knows? Yeah, we're just going to send the link to the translator to the stream chat so they can like be more informed than you.
Sure, sure. I mean, I never looked too hard into it, so.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Uh,
fair. Yeah, it's not hard to find actually.
Christian asks if that game is getting a remake. I'm assuming Never 17, and
Yeah,
the answer
yeah,
is
every 17.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
it even
yes.
has like multiple so called remakes. Like, it has console ports earlier from that to like, I don't know, a lot of platforms. Well, I've listened to like the Xbox 360 soundtrack, and it's not the same. And I've heard varying things about like the changes they made to the script, and I don't know if they'll have them or not. So it kind of feels like I would want people to read the original first. On the other hand, like if it gets a better translation, that would be a good help too, because the original translation isn't really that great.
Of Carnage, you mean?
Of
Or Evan
Ever
17?
70.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Pain. I mean, I don't know who did that. Probably like multiple groups, right? If we're
Yeah, it
talking
was
about an
like
old
it was.
translation.
Yeah, it was Hirameki. There is like a fan fix patch that's probably like fixes some of the more egregious things, but
Uh,
you don't like just fix a whole thing. You need to actually be good to do that, and fans generally are not actually good. You know how it is.
yeah, I mean, look.
Actually, fans not good. Let's like get spicy here. Let's talk about the like Fate to Stay Night retranslation.
Oh,
What a
I mean,
mess.
sure. Oh God, since I don't give a shit about Fate Stay at all, right? I'm okay
Yeah,
talking about this. I'm completely fine. So,
yeah.
I mean, how many attempts has it had right now? Like four or something like that?
Yeah. I don't. I think with Fate Stay Night. I don't know how many like big retranslation attempts. Like the new ones that coming up now is like an actual one that has like done several routes. I
Oh, it's
think.
still going on, that one?
Yeah, I think they've released like or like finished Unlimited Blade Works or something like that. And they have like multiple posts on their blog. We like compare their shitty translation to Takajun's shitty translation, and it's like really sad because you read
Um,
both and you're like, maybe the old translation is even better. Holy crap! Why are you so?
Sometimes. Like, I've actually seen some of the comparisons. The thing is,
Yeah,
like, in defense of the Takajun and the new translator,
yeah.
the writing is not that spicy good. Like, I'm telling you, it's not very good. It feels like when I translate Kinogasa in Akatsuki no Goe, where
Mm.
they don't know how to write yet very well, right? So
Yeah,
sometimes things get fucked up, and the translator just does whatever they can, right? But
yeah. I mean, I think that might be kind of fair. Like Nazo wasn't amazing when he wrote Fate Stay Night. I think that might be true, but like if you've seen like some of the excerpts on like their blog,
I have,
like
I have.
yeah, like their style of translation is just not conducive to actually reading well in English, and it's kind of depressing. Like Ixrex translations read better. They might remove some details, usually not very important ones, but they actually not Ixrex, Takajun.
Yeah, yeah.
Takashun's translation actually like read better, and it like the new translation kind of just like goes man gentleman on every fucking sentence instead of thinking like, okay, but what if I write like a good writer instead of like putting every word in the original in the sentence, despite the fact that I don't need to.
Look, because
I don't know.
the retranslation attempt is just the classic Type Moon translator meme of I'm just gonna translate this as fast as I can slash whenever for the cloud points because I want my name on the credits, right? Of I did
Ooh,
this. I mean,
now that's
it's
spicy.
obvious. It's obvious, right? Come on. That's why at least 8 translations pop out every time anything Type Moon comes out, basically.
Okay, that is kind of fair. Well, a lot of them haven't gone anywhere, and this one has. So you got to give them some credit for actually completing their bad retranslation. You know?
Bad retran. Well, I wouldn't say if it's bad. It's just
You know,
misguided.
I mean, like, I guess it's not exactly bad. It's just tragic because here's a guy that like is like, oh, I'm going to translate this right, and like when he just does it badly, but in a different way than the original one.
But Saka,
Like,
come
like,
on,
like, just do it good.
aren't we used to randos just saying that and then that happens? Like, aren't we used to that? At least you should know
No,
better.
I mean no. Like it's always bad, but like you have this little hope somewhere deep in your heart that maybe they won't suck. I mean, they will suck, but you still hope because like you could be wrong. It's not impossible. Cope, cope.
I don't know. I think it's better, but not as better as the guy thinks it is. That's my own. That's the only thing I can say on the matter.
Yeah, I think like I think for some excerpts that they specifically chose, it's actually worse, which is like
uh,
actually depressing.
no, if anything, I just don't like it's something that happened as well back when translation wiki was a thing where they
Mm.
discredited X-Rex/Insem's work to the ground, right? But
You
it
see.
wasn't done. Sure, some of it was grounded in logic, but a lot of it was
Yeah.
grounded on let's just destroy this guy's reputation so our work gets recognized better, right? And in
Okay,
case of
that's fair.
X-Rec, it worked, right? And Insem's side, not exactly, but sometimes it is talked
Mhm.
about. And I think Takajin's translation wasn't even that bad, you know. I think it was like
No, no,
okay, it was fine. I mean, it's not good, you know, but it's
no.
serviceable for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like Takashin was like, he didn't exactly have a most elegant thing in English, but it was like written in relatively plain English. Which I mean, if you're not that good at writing, then better write it in plain English than like try to be fancy, because you're going to trip over yourself so many more fucking times if you try to write fancy. I don't know, but like it was written like significantly more in a lot of sections that I think like more like natural English. Like a lot of them like also weren't. Like he keeps the fucking like can't be helped. Like you've seen that meme where like the food can't be helped and shit
Of
all the
course.
times in the translation. But in other places, like when there's like some narration, like I don't know, it's just it's actually more natural the old Takajun translation than the new one. That's like, and I mean the reason for that is that the new one doesn't adjust the sentence structure enough from a Japanese, so and then it ends up being like very married to the Japanese structure, and it just doesn't work in English, and
Uh,
it's unfortunate.
I mean, in the end, you have to sacrifice one or the other to a lesser or greater extent. So you make your
Yeah,
choices, right?
but I
So
mean, sacrificing the Japanese sentence structure is fine. You're writing in English. You should be doing that. Just write good. Why can't anyone write good? What's wrong?
really, why isn't everything to up to my impossible standards? How could it be?
Me. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it.
I mean, there's very few people who actually meet your standards of decent writing. So
That is
I wouldn't
true.
qualify your opinion as universal, but definitely to take into account. You know.
Yeah, it's just that it's literally not. It's literally maybe not even better than the original translation. That's what makes me sad. So sometimes it is. Like I imagine that like in some of the like flowery metaphor sections, like it's probably like maybe a little bit better because it like doesn't completely kill them. But in other sections that are more normal, it's going to feel much more plodding and not in a good way than the old one. So it's going to be like a fucking wash, and you've spent I don't know, you spent 3 years of your life to do something that like has limited value. Oh god.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, understand that those people do not have access, or maybe don't know how to access ways to improve. You know.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I mean,
and that means knowing people who know better than you. And in those cases, I mean, this project started in Bisler, right? If I remember correctly.
oh yeah,
So,
that's true.
I think a Bisler dweller would not know how to get it in touch or know people from current translation world, like, right? Right, guys.
Yeah,
And even
that
then,
might
I
be
don't know if
true.
they'd be open to help him either way in any
Yeah, I mean that's
capacity.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
this is not like back in my day. God, nobody helped me either back then. But but it was easier, if you wanted to. It's I don't know how to
Yeah, that's
explain it
true.
better.
Yeah, like yeah, I can see that. Like, I mean, maybe the community was not quite as fragmented then. I guess maybe is what you're trying to say.
No, I'm just saying that
So,
like people have always been assholes, right? But I feel
yeah,
like everyone knew. Well, I guess you're right. Everyone knew where to go for certain things, right? Like in our
yeah,
case, it took me a while to understand, but it was like just like what Fuwanovel.
Yeah,
Maybe if you were insane Hongfire, I remember Hongfire.
yeah,
God,
yeah.
that was a time. But Hongfire was still a thing back then. And
Mm.
anything else? I wouldn't
Maybe
count
like
Reddit.
IRC, like maybe Teal
Yeah.
Wiki or some shit.
Yeah, I'd say no. Back when I was active, TealWiki was already not a thing.
Okay,
So
that's true. That's
probably
true.
specific groups, IRC,
Oh yeah,
and then Fuwanovel was the place, right?
yeah, yeah.
And now what? Like oh god, it pains me to say this, but Reddit is a place.
Oh god,
If you
yeah,
want to
very
get all
much.
the wrong opinions,
Oh yeah, you will get many wrong opinions
uh,
there. Some will be correct, but
yeah,
yeah,
no.
I don't know.
Reddit is the layer of people who think they're scholars or whatever. Anyways, so we have Reddit.
I mean, it's really kind of hard. Like, I think part of the problem is like you really don't know who to like listen to, and I mean, I'm being very like strong about this being my opinion, but obviously some people have shit opinions that differ from me when it comes to like how you should translate. Now, those people are wrong, but you would need to actually listen to like my arguments and agree with them to go that direction. But yeah, I don't know. So I mean, in part, like part of a skill you need to like be able to write well is to even know like who to pick to like criticize your writing. I mean, I mean, you managed to like occasionally pick me, so you have developed that skill, or maybe you just got lucky. I don't know, but I roasted you on that doujin, and you still remember it to this day. But
I remember
maybe it's
every
not.
transgression committed against me, Saka.
Oh god, that is true. You do
I
do that.
actually have a website that I have privated just for myself where I note and ironically note every transgression made against me plus my personal projects or whatever, right? But every single one
Yeah, yeah.
I note. So don't you worry, man.
Damn.
It's
All right. Yeah, I'll just like one day we'll like go full schizo mode and like sends a death squad to my house. He's rich. He's made so much money from his business that like
oh
he's like,
yeah.
you know what? I have to kill Zaka. It's gone too far this time. And like they'll kill me, and there will be a note like in my house with every fucking thing that he hated that I've done. It'll like the list of paper will like. I don't know, go like from the front door to like into my room, which is like I don't know, 10 meters. You'll just have all of that.
God, I
Oh
swear to
yeah,
Jesus, if I pointed a gun at you and told you to admit that I'm good, you would still call me mid before I pull the trigger. I swear to God.
it's fucking
It's
true.
so true. It actually is annoying as fuck, but whatever.
But yeah, that is obviously like my standard, which is like I think like almost everything is mid. There are a few things that might be good. Ish.
I mean, yeah. At
Mo-
this point, I've learned how to cope with it, so it's completely fine.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's I that have problems coping, but I mean, admittedly, I just learned Japanese, so I just I don't have to read it anymore. I do still have to exist in a world with like bad translation, and it hurts my soul. But like, at least I don't have to read them, so I still feel better.
I mean, true,
Like,
but it's better to be mid than dog in your eyes, right? Because there's
yeah,
a difference.
yeah,
There's an actual difference between dog and mid. So I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Like I respect so many people that are mid. Like, I don't respect people that are dog unless we're like. Uh, there is a thing where like some people are like maybe actually are dog, but like you can tell that they are trying to not be dog, and I still respect that. Like if you're trying to improve yourself, then I probably respect that a lot. When if you're like a really lower mid person that's obviously not trying, if you're like upper mid, then I probably will still respect you over someone that's doggo, even if they're trying to improve. Sorry, skill difference is still a thing, but uh,
So sorry, not sorry. Blah blah blah. You know how it
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Speaking of, actually, do you think fan translations have gotten better over the years, or nothing has changed, or worse, or what? Because
Hmm.
I personally think they've gotten better. For example,
Yeah, yeah. I think we've probably gotten a bit better. Like, I think part of it is just that like the really casual translators that just go for some random fucking moage, and when we're like half of the time we give up because we realize we don't even like the game, and like we haven't even read it before we translate it. We just translate it as we're going, and it's really
True.
painful for them. Oh god, like that's probably gone down because like now people are translating, like official companies are translating all of like moage these times, and like most people just have their appetites filled and we just don't learn Japanese. But I mean, I think it has gone up a bit. It's not like it's still not good, but like no translation average is good. Like I'd say it's like 1 to 2 steps below official translations, which are still on average not that good. But in any category, you can have something really good. Like Grisaya's translation was a fan translation originally.
Dude.
People might not even know that anymore.
Yeah, but
It's
Grisaya is such an outlier, though. What do you mean?
yeah, Grisaya
It's
is an
such an exception
insane
to.
fucking outlier.
Yeah.
But it's still true that uh, like even my copus, but like as a fan translator, technically like your potential is like near infinite because you don't have deadlines. All you have is like what you can live with yourself, right? And you don't have to like listen to like the Japanese companies. They said like, no, we want you to romanize this character name as something totally retarded. You can just say, I mean, you don't even have to like talk to them. You can just say, no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna fucking type Sizuru for Shizuru. No, we're not gonna do that.
I will not eat the bugs, and I will not translate Shizuru as Sizuru.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
yeah, it's like and a lot of like other like meddling stuff. Like if the other company is like cooperative though, like that can also help. Like
Unlikely to happen, but sure.
yeah, it is unlikely to happen. But if they're like actually good, but we don't fuck with your translation, which they might, then like yeah, it can help because you're probably realistically not going to get a hacker that like can help as much as someone with a source code could help you for the actual VM. So like I'd say that like fan translation technically has a ceiling that's higher, but in the end, most people, don't want to actually do it for free forever. So
Makes
most
sense.
of the time, official translations are actually going to be better. But the truth is that they could have been even better if with fan translations. Unfortunately, translators have to eat too.
I mean, look, it's fine and all, but it's a fact that doing fan translations now is just more difficult, man. You're under more scrutiny
Yeah.
than before, and it's people are really cancer, man. For fuck's sakes, like it's not okay to like Reddit shouldn't be the first place to as a reference for these kinds of things. Like it definitely shouldn't, but it is, unfortunately.
Ouch.
I'm not gonna say things are way worse than how they were back when I started,
Yeah.
which was like 4 years ago, right? Like those,
Mhm.
like back then, in Fuwanovel, it was a different kind of cancer.
I see. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Like, definitely different kind, but like, there's definitely a lot of cancer, like, still now. I mean, some
Now
of it
it's worse.
justified because it makes retards fuck off, but you know how it is.
No, it's not justifiable. Like there is no excuse. There's no excuse for a group of people who actively gate games just because only one person can do them or only I can do them. Therefore, if it's not me, nobody can, and I will bully you until the end of times. Like it's really crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. That's for sure.
Yeah, and this enters the Makura realm, and what was this other game? Holy shit! How can I forget? It's one of my tens. That oh my god! It's that Nabo game, that the Schizo game from Nabo.
Oretsuba?
Oretsuba. There you go. Oretsuba
Oh, yeah.
and Oretsuba and the any game from Makura enters here. Oh no,
Yeah.
and Light. I remember there was this one guy. I remember he was in the server back when I don't know if he's still here, but he
yeah.
literally said that if I ever did light games, he would unironically call his friends to raid me and dox me and and bully me
Holy
until I
shit.
stop. And like he actually entered a call with me once. I was like, dude, do you
Holy
realize
fuck.
how cringe you are? And he says, no, I'm not cringe. I'm just being reasonable. And this is the same guy. Is the same guy that did the retranslation or the translation for that Demon Bane remake or whatever that came out. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
It's like a demon bane.
Yeah, I know. So this is going to be very awkward because, like, I mean, I did a trivial amount of work for that thing project. It was like one script, like
Oh,
I don't know, like 8,000 characters, nothing big, but like I'm technically involved. I don't know if that guy is the same guy you're talking about, but yeah, I
it's
think
one of the guys in the project. I don't
yeah.
think he's a translator, but it's one of them. And he went
Yeah.
full schizo on me. Like, if you ever do light
Holy
games,
fuck!
I will call my friends and I will personally make your life impossible. I'm like, dude, chill,
Holy
man. Like,
fuck!
first of all, I don't give a shit, and second of all, chill, dude. Like, chill your tits, straight up.
Yeah, that is like not okay. Like, I've shit fairly hard on the Fate Stay Night retranslation here on this podcast, as we've known. So I'm not opposed to like giving harsh criticism, but you shouldn't go after them in real life. That's like obviously wrong.
I mean,
That
does it
is.
even matter if someone does the fucking game? Just spit and ignore, or just do your translation or ignore. Like, straight up. That's it. Like,
I don't know. I think
pretty
like
much
you
it.
should be able to like say that. Like, I think that it's actually okay to run a translate. Like, okay, so first of
It's
all,
not okay to
you need.
like defamation campaigns, man. That's really
Yeah,
fucked up.
yeah. I mean, defamation campaigns, but of course, defense against defamation is that what you're saying is true, right? So if you're actually being shit and like, so I would say that you can do it, but you need to actually be able to read Japanese, like, and do the comparison and do the work, and then if you find out that like, yeah, I think this is actually shit, and like you have that backing, then I think it's okay to like go on a bit of a campaign, like saying like, yeah, this is shit. I think that's acceptable.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, look, I say this as someone who has run like some sort of
Yeah,
quote unquote a defamation campaign against a certain project
yeah,
that I won't mention here.
yeah.
But yes, I say this as someone who has done that before, and
Yeah.
I now I do it if people ask me, but I tend to keep it to myself most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just better to let people decide. You know, I don't like. I just don't think it's okay to brigade people like that, and I think it's very common nowadays to do that. Where,
Yeah.
well, in other cases, dude, we our old editor Klim, for example,
Yeah.
he got into an argument with Gams online on Twitter. Like,
Oh
yeah,
God! Don't do that.
yeah. He purposely said that Gams doesn't know Japanese or something of the sort, right? So of course you're gonna get fucked if you do that, right?
Yeah.
And then Gams brought up, he's the same guy that works for this group slash project, which was ours at the moment. I was like, oof,
That's unfortunate. for
please
you.
don't bring Gams into the equation, or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's just not a very wise thing. Okay, for people that don't know, that are not internet poisoned, Gams was a rather interesting person, internet micro celebrity. We will not discuss further what he has done or has not done because it will not go well for anyone.
Yeah, basically, he's a character TLDR. That's the short story.
Yeah,
So yeah, just don't get in arguments with them, and you'll be fine,
yeah,
right? That's why if you know, there's been times where I've been thinking about maybe I could be a schizo on the Oretsu, alright? But the thing is, one, the game is impossible to translate. First of all, in my opinion, or okay, maybe
yeah,
not impossible, but requires someone with higher skill than I have for sure.
yeah,
And second of all, I would get brigaded, right? And not only
yeah.
by certain people, also from people that belong to a professional world, right? So I'd rather not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the absolute state of the translation scene now, because on one side you have the GPT enjoyers
Oh God, yeah.
who will just bash you because you are a human, and humans cannot have attention. It must be the machine, we must all be stoned by the machine. And fuck you if you're a translator, you're part of the problem, the cabal, because
Yeah,
when I
that's
translate
ridiculous.
things, I want to make everyone gay, that's the first thing I think about. I just want everyone to be a fag. And yeah, and then there's other people who are like the redditors, right? And then you have the normal
Yeah.
creatures of the night who are just waiting for the patch to come. But it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
difficult
yeah.
situation right now to start.
And then you have
projects.
like, exactly like once every year you have like one translator that actually knows what you're doing and like posts a critique or something, and it's actually justified. And that's the one that makes it all worth it, or maybe not actually,
Like
maybe
for
not.
example, could you give us some examples? Just
Yeah, I mean, for example, like you had there's a critique of a Danganronpa translation, I think, and
oh,
there's like a decent critique of the Raging Loop translation. I think
ooh.
both of us were by like official localizers. Well, one is Anon, I think, because well, you know, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are like not particularly common. I will link this to the stream chat as a bonus. This one, you know, this one I think is like pretty decent. And like we're fairly even-handed. Like they actually done the work, so it's like unusual. And
Uh, have you
so
posted
like
in the chat? I don't see anything.
yeah, I posted it in a stream chat.
What? I don't see it, but well, maybe it appeared in a bit.
Yeah, yeah, stream chat, not like.
Yeah, yeah, I see it
Oh,
here.
yeah, yeah.
That's what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean.
nice. Okay, nice. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll show up eventually. But yeah, it's like a critique of Raging Loop. Like, yeah, they do exist. There are actually good localization critiques. It's just that most people are not going to be making them.
What about? I think the Tsukihime's translation of what they did of Tsukihime was not bad. I think it was really decent.
Schema, like, which one?
That partial, the partial of the remake that was released by that group called
Oh,
Tsukihime's. I've actually read some of it. It's pretty. I thought it was pretty decent, man.
oh, okay. Did you compare to the Japanese?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did.
Oh,
It's good. It's
okay.
good. It's good. It's good.
Oh shit. Wow, it
I
has
would
been
recommend.
improvement.
You know, it's definitely above average. So
Oh shit,
yeah.
that is actually very nice to hear because I would have expected it to be like not good.
No, no, it has. I can guarantee it has brain behind. It has brain power behind choices. At least I'm not
Uh,
gonna say all of them, but
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
many of them. And then depending on what you consider good or bad, I suppose because I haven't read this one, but I have seen
Yeah.
the opinions and everything of the fixed translation of that Mages game.
Chaos
What?
at Noah.
Chaos Noah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that fixed translation. Some people say it's insane, others say it's like trash and trash is not the creator or whatever. I don't know,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I don't know. It's
I,
probably mid. It's probably mid.
I
You
don't
know.
know. I just don't like the fact that sure the company didn't do a good job. I will admit that
Yeah,
much. I've seen. I mean, judging by the screenshots, I'm gonna say okay.
yeah.
However, I don't like how the fan translators as well lord themselves over the official translation either. It's like, yeah, bro, we will always be better because we will always be better and fuck companies. You know, it's like they created this dynamic where it's the people, normal people against the company for some reason. And sure,
Yeah,
maybe
I
the
see.
company does not make the best decisions. I will admit that much. The company is definitely very autistic sometimes. However, I don't think they should be antagonized in general. If they don't get the fan translation, then it's bad automatically, right? Which is what happened basically. It came out, people read it for 5 minutes, and then cast their decision on it, right?
I
And
mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, apart from the like actual game-breaking bugs, like, okay, yes, people may only have read the intro scene, but the intro scene was really shitty, and it's the first thing you see when you open the game. It should be good.
yeah, yeah, I know. I'm just saying that. It like the center of the crux of the entire thing is that it shouldn't be as antagonized as it is. Basically, they shouldn't antagonize
Yeah,
the company because they didn't buy a fan translation, right?
yeah. I guess that's fair. It's good. I mean, like the new Chaos Head Noah thing isn't that old fan translation either. So like, I think it's different. But yeah, I agree that like it doesn't make sense to antagonize a company for not buying a fan translation, but the actual translation they provided was kind of crap. So I mean, I think it was justified to like criticize it, but I mean,
It wasn't even
often
that bad.
it
It wasn't even that bad.
it was pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest.
It
It was
was it
pretty
was it was
bad.
meh. It was meh in my opinion, but it
I would
wasn't.
say it was lower tier meh. Like I
Sure.
don't feel like it should actually be acceptable like as a professional translation because
Okay.
it reads like a bad fan translation, not
Sure.
like
Sure, I can pass that. I can pass that.
Yeah,
Like on the
but yeah.
realm of readability, it's readable. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, readable. A lot of things are readable.
Uh,
Let's face it.
yeah, I
Let's have a
mean,
bit higher standards.
yeah, that's from your that's from your point of view of like a human being, and I'm speaking of like the Indonesian point of view. You know.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. From an Indonesian point of view, I'm sure it's readable. I guess. I feel like I suddenly feel like saying here and there multiple times for no reason, but we'll leave that aside.
Actually, I've been wanting to ask if you could imagine you have all the time in the world and the disposition and everything and the skill,
Yeah,
and you can translate one visual novel, whatever the fuck you want, right? Which
yeah,
one would it be? Like, regardless of situation or gatekeeping or whatever. Like, if you
yeah,
could,
yeah.
which one?
Yeah, I mean the crazy part is like I don't think I have really read enough visual novels to be sure about this, and like there are a lot of things that are like really fascinating, like writing in Japanese that I just have not read. But I think I would be looking for something like Shumon games, which like have very like interesting writing. Like we have metaphors and shit in them, and like there's autistic, the like kanji wordplay and shit that people say is hard, and that sounds like interesting. And like I don't know, I've read like parts of them, and they seem to actually be good, like not just meme good. But obviously, I haven't actually read these games, so it's kind of like a really weird meme thing to like want to translate something that's like you haven't even read. So if we were to go for something like I have actually read parts of, oh god, we're going to go to my reading in Japanese tab, which has like 50 games I've stalled and like 10 games I've finished because
Nice.
I'm actually terrible. But like there is this like obscure doujin, obviously, because why wouldn't it be? And I think it has like really cool writing. And I imagine that nobody would really care about it, but it's called Dear My Abyss, and it's like
Oh, I know which one it
so.
is. Okay, okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead, go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like basically it's a Lovecraft in Japan, and it's one of those where all the Lovecraft books actually exist, but also the monsters exist, and they creep into this place that has basically a girl read a forbidden artifact, and now all hell is coming to town, but rather slowly, and in dreams, and the like strange beings are like chasing them. It's like it's a good like horror go up and horror build up, I should say. Oh my god, English. And it has like distinct characters. So like specifically one character has like this very funky voice where like she speaks I mean, now I'm fucking influenced by you because I'm going to say that she speaks like a redditor, but I mean that's not entirely true. Like she's not cringe, but like she has like she speaks like she's wearing a fedora. She gets into fights all the time because she's so bad at communicating too. It's really funny. She's actually bad at fighting, but people think she's good because she gets into fights so often. I think that's it. I can't quite remember. But yeah, when it's like I don't know, it has like the writing gets more autistic, like the more scary moment is. So like it'll put like really autistic shit in kanji when like something like really dangerous is up, which feels nice. Or maybe in like a dream with like an ancient entity, you get like I don't know, you get like the actual like old translation Lovecraft quotes or something that looks like it. I don't know. It's just it's good. It's good shit.
Well,
So
that's
yeah,
unexpected answer.
actually, that's my answer. I will translate an obscure doujin game if I get fucking because this is like too long for me to do normally. I think.
I know it's funny how I've asked this question to everyone who has come so far in the podcast. Nobody answers
Yeah.
with kamige. You know, it's really interesting. You know, so far,
Yeah.
and here I was expecting everything to be more or less on the same tendency, but no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did mention like and I did say like an obscure kamige, not obscure kamige. Like I did say like Asairo or something like a Shumon game. So I'm being like, but yeah. Then I did pivot to the thing I'd actually read some of, which is not like a known kamige at least.
Imagine. God, actually, I've been meaning to ask as well. So you've been modding for Fuwanovel for quite a while now, haven't you? In general.
Yeah, I mean, like with Discord mainly, like in the forums, with like there's like basically nothing to do because nobody has started a fight on the forums yet. So like,
Imagine.
yeah, literally all I do is like I see spammer, I ban spammer, I see spammer, I ban spammer. It's I mean, it's a doing things, but for the Discord, yeah. I feel like I've gone like a path that you could call lazy, and maybe you should, or you could say that I'm just coping. But I've tried to have a very light hand in most cases, and I try to like mostly just mod people with like first with like influencing them in chat rather than like doing anything official. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, eventually you might have to ban someone, and I actually have eventually banned a lot of people that I should have, banned a lot earlier, but I let them do shit for so long. When like Fuwanovel was like really fucking no activity, like I let two people fight because it was funny, and I didn't care about Fuwanovel. Like Fuwanovel was dying as fuck at that point, so I was like, okay, I'll just make it so it's fun for me.
Damn, you
And
still
so
remember when you were part of the problem, Saka, with us, with the HMN crew,
oh god, the fucking HMN crew, yeah.
literal terrorists.
Literally terrorists. Oh my god, that was really dumb. Oh my god. I mean, the cause was like I don't know. It's both that like we came in and like just started having fun on the forums at a time where moderation just was like too few people to deal with it, and also that like when they came in, they like didn't have guidance, and like the people that spoke the loudest ended up being like the people that were like really harsh and probably too harsh still. So, yeah, but bad things happened. We deserved part of it, but we also didn't deserve other parts of it, and it was like not handled very well
Well, it happens,
overall.
man.
It
It
happened.
is. It is what it is. I
I
mean,
think basically everyone is unbanned from when that happens at this point. It's been so fucking long. But yeah, I was.
everything requires time, I suppose.
Yeah,
It'll be back. You just need time, as per
yeah, yeah.
usual.
Yeah, I don't know. For a normal server recently, like with Discord, is actually like I don't know. I don't think it's popping off exactly, but like we've had some good discussion every day. And I mean, I made a translation channel where I can be autistic, which helps.
Right.
And we have like a lot of JOPs in there. And occasionally you
What
get like
GOPs? What GOPs populate the place?
I mean, it's like more. Some are baby JLPs, and some are like actually reading like the autistic games. I don't know if you'd necessarily like it because I don't know if there's anyone there that's into Moge or shit. As you all know, you only like those. You love using it, but
Oh yeah, I fucking love Moegas.
but yeah, I don't know. I think it's like I think it's decent at least. The people might be you might call some people were a bit Reddit, but I mean a little bit of Reddit is okay.
I mean, I would call anyone that has your tendencies that isn't you a redditor. So yeah.
True, true.
I mean,
Yeah,
and it probably wouldn't be far from the truth on that matter. So sorry to
yeah. I
say.
mean,
It's just that
I think it.
I don't know. I'd like to say that I have thick skin, but I don't. And I'm very tired of people pretending to be smart with me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so anytime I get criticism or whatever, unless it's someone I that gets along well with me, or
Mm.
100% I know that it doesn't come from like bad intentions, right? I
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
just shut it down and ban or ignore and spit. It's
I
been,
see, I see.
but it's just a bad tendency of mine. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is hard to take criticism. It is difficult, but you do have to
yeah.
eventually like deal with it. You have to like be really mad for a day, and then you realize they're right, and then you're like, okay, maybe I did suck in this particular instance of behavior, but
Oh
clearly I
yeah,
will be better in the future.
of course. No, I just like look. Both you and I know that to get good in
Yeah.
this, especially I'm gonna say in this community slash media, Japanese media, you are
Yeah.
subjected to abuse, right?
Oh yeah.
And sure, Now it's when I cue the funny laughter because haha abuse on the internet. Just shut off the PC, bro. Like sure, you can do that, but let's get real here. Like it's all
Yeah,
about
you're not going to fucking do that. And also, if you shut off a PC, you can't get any clout.
yeah, exactly. You can't practice translation or get clout indeed. But yeah, I mean, I personally went through a lot of abuse when I was in the process, right? I'm not gonna count your criticism as abuse, but it's just people where when I ask for help, right, and I would say, hey, can you help me with this or whatever, or understand this, right, in Japanese learning channels, and the answer is, lol, bro, get good. It's like, just get good, bro. And I'm like, then why does this channel even exist in the first place, right? Or people telling you, yeah, bro, how can you not know this? Like, you are supposed to blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, that's why I'm asking. Like, what is your problem? So you know, some people get used to it and grow thick skin. I didn't, so it's a matter of optics, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I mean, there are two narratives here, which is like, first of all, first you have like from a like sympathetic to your perspective here, which is like you're not going to actually help these people by just like telling them to fuck off, and all of them actually won't fuck off. Well, some of them will, so that's part of the reason why you do it, right? Because you want them to fuck off, because you know that anything they do, like in the next like 12 months, is going to be shit. So it doesn't even matter if you help them or not. It's always going to be shit because we have too much to learn, right?
Yeah.
But there's also I think there's also a perspective that's like, nevertheless, maybe we don't fuck off, and now we will literally never learn. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, you need to be resilient. You need to be mental.
Yeah.
Your mental needs to be strong. That's the only thing I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I guess I would like. So I think in the past I probably have been like more towards the telling people to fuck off thing, because like it's just hard to deal with your soul with like there being a bad translation in the world, and you just know that this person is just really bad and they're going to be really bad for a long time. You just want to tell them like, no, don't translate right now. Fucking read VNs for like I don't know, a year. Maybe you'll be better. Like, read some books in English. Do you know what they have books in English? They're really good examples of how to write in English. Maybe you should do that.
It's also difficult to like some people. It's difficult for people to grasp the concept of translating something and not releasing. Like I have 3 games I translated that I never released. Right. So. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I even get that. Like, I definitely get that. Like, I would not want to translate something and then just throw it out.
Yeah.
Ironically, like, technically, like, obviously, I think both of us actually have translated and thrown out and then, like, released the thing after, because we just fucking retranslated the whole thing. But, like, that's still kind of different, because, like, at least you are still doing it. But, like, completely throwing it out, that does feel really bad.
Well, I just keep it in my drive, but it never saw the light of day. Like if you, I have never shown you my Fortune Arterial translation, haven't I? Because that is oof.
Oh yeah, oof. Yeah, that
was my first translation when I was 3 months into learning. So imagine
that's 3 months. Yeah,
it was worse than Google. It was worse than Google.
Oh god, yeah. I remember. Actually, this is like really old lore, but I was like, one of the first contacts I had with you was like, I went to like a fan translation like Discord, I think, for like Fortune Arterial, and I just clicked like a random script for some reason, and I like on the first lines I spotted a translation error. And it wasn't you; it was like the other dude. But like, and that's pointed out like, there's a translation error there. That's like the first fucking interaction I did with the server.
Nice.
Oh god.
That's old lore indeed, because I don't even remember myself. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that is pretty old. I think you used to remember it maybe a little bit. Like,
oh yeah, I remember the team. I was with Frazier. In fact, I still have Fraser added now. I found him on Discord only recently because he wanted to. Like he has never changed, bro. He does the same thing every time. He joins a project, he works on it for X time, and then he just disappears. Like he disappears, right?
Damn.
He's out. Just no more. And he did the same with me, where there was a point where he was running a light novel translation website back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And Fortune Arterial was just his secondary project. I found I found Fraser's like in general thing. I found him weird because this guy could speak perfect Japanese, right? I tell you like
Hmm.
N1 plus native tier, right?
Really?
Yeah, he's native tier Japanese speaker, right? However, he doesn't know how to read kanji. Like he just doesn't know, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Like he said, "Well, I just don't know how to read many kanji." Right? He had like N4 N3 level of knowledge
Yeah,
kanji.
yeah,
Right? I'm like, how can you not read kanji but be able to speak Japanese perfect? How is that a
yeah,
thing? But it was a thing, you know. And
yeah,
it was a weird dynamic where his translation. Obviously, he was miles better than me, right? He was leagues better.
yeah.
However, I don't think he was that good either. So
Mm.
even though he knew that I was really bad, he allowed me to stay, which was a mistake in my opinion. And and yeah, that's eventually I learned that my work was really bad, and I dropped it completely. And I told him,
Mm.
but he just disappeared, right? And well, here
Oh.
we are.
Yeah, here we are. Three more failed projects later, you finally release something or whatever
Right,
it was.
guys? Right?
I mean, you know, you failed upwards, so that's good. You learned something every time. You get roasted occasionally, but that's part of learning.
I mean, yeah, it's just like I said, you need strong mental to keep
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Because if I had been weaker mentally, I would have left this 6 years ago and never looked back,
yeah,
you know. And I would probably have a girlfriend and a happy life, but now I'm depressed and addicted
yeah,
to this media. So here we are,
yeah. Feels incredibly good, man.
right,
I think
guys?
I think there is like one way you can like partially cope with that, which is like I mean, so you need to have like actually read like a lot of like actually good writing. So when you actually know what good writing looks like,
Hmm.
I mean, you know, I say a lot of the time that I have a library, and it's true. I actually have a fucking library of books in English, which I started reading when I was like 8 or some shit. So I like have an incredibly unfair advantage of like over people that haven't actually read in English because my God, I have actually done that shit. So like I can actually look at my text like from a translation, and like and when I try to read it like a normal person, I'm like, okay, this is shit. I need to fix it, and like that helps immensely. It's probably a lot of what I use to like be decently good. Obviously, like there are things that still are problems because Japanese is hard, and like the visual novel format obviously doesn't write exactly like a book,
Mm-hmm.
but still like I know what actual English looks like. I don't have to like you know a lot of people like I keep talking bringing this up, but I think it's like an underappreciated dynamic where like some people just haven't read books, and like maybe they go into visual novels and it's like literally the only thing they can read because we're fucking zoomers. Like and like obviously most of what we read are going to be like mid-tier to like low-tier translations, like fan translations. Obviously you're never going to learn good English from that, and like mid-tier official probably not. You'll like learn like bad English basically, like so and like we like watch anime subs, and like a lot of them are going to be bad too. So like their idea of normal English is like, okay, if they live in like North America or whatever, in like an English speaking country, at least they have that background. But still, like most of the experience of like, I don't know, written media is going to be from like bad translations. So they're going to like think that that's normal, that that's like English, and it's really painful. It's just. I think it also shapes a lot of people like tastes. I mean, especially Indonesians, obviously, since we already mentioned them. but but yeah, it probably changed all of their audience taste, like for what they how they want things to read. But like I instead I just don't consider their preferences really valid because I know what real English looks like, and it doesn't look like this.
I mean,
That's how I feel.
the it's all about optics in the end because I think your standards are definitely. I don't know. Some would call it superior, others too grating. I guess
Yeah,
you're on like you're on an extreme. You know, I think.
yeah,
Although
yeah,
although although I think that your opinions are right. You know, it's not like a. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It's just that you must admit that you have an extreme point of view when it comes to those things. In the end,
yeah,
like people don't understand that this media is just supposed to be entertaining, right? In very
yeah,
few cases it's meant to be something profound and to be taken
Yeah,
as an actual book. Like for example, I would categorize Subahibi, maybe Sakuuta.
yeah,
Like those works are maybe schizo, right? Where it gets to a point
yeah, yeah.
that they are meant to be read and enjoyed from like a literary perspective. Maybe
Mm,
Muramasa for sure.
yeah,
Um, Albatross, anything made by Marini
yeah.
is Marini a woman? I think it was a woman, right?
I don't know. I think it was a dude. I actually do not know.
God, I don't remember. Well, let's assume it's a woman. So before Marini returned to light novels, uh,
Yeah, yeah,
because I think the writing of Marini is pretty good, right? But
yeah, yeah,
there are works that are honestly meant to be enjoyed from a literary point of view, right? And most of
yeah,
the
yeah.
times they coincide with the kamige or whatever. But
Yeah.
in most cases, they are not meant to be anything more than just pieces of entertainment, right? So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Which I mean, it's also part of why I don't like the idea of putting translation notes and being like autistic about the exact details of shit a lot, because like they were never meant to be studied that deeply, and if you're doing that, you're like actually reading it wrong. It's like not even close. But we're supposed to entertain you, not do this shit.
well, to me, it's just a cope to put less effort into my work.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people might not think of it as a cope, but it's probably a lot less effort sometimes. Because like a lot of the times, like doing it more literally is easier. I've tried to like just write the first thing that comes to mind in my for a line, and like I translated twice as fast when I like did like translations. I would like really shit posty, but also like my brain likes to shit post. So like apart from them being like literal and like having like the same fucking sentence structure as the Japanese, they will also like have really dumb shit post shit in them too. But yeah,
The Chinese
uh,
wall.
yeah, that shit. Like, just casually translate three dots as something about Palestine. That kind of shit. But yeah, I don't
God,
know. Yeah, I translated twice as fast as like my max translation speed or anything else when I did that.
oh my God,
So
this reminds me of that one time where you convinced me to do a segment in Seno Hato where this was back when I was in Seno Hato,
okay.
where I changed the empire for Palestine and the Republic for Israel, and
Oh, it's so good.
oh god, that was a patch, dude.
Oh, it's a good shit. Yeah.
That was good shit. Yeah. And every now and then I insert the funny references from Palestine and Israel whenever it is possible. Okay, I do not insert them out of the blue.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to have. There's an art to putting in these references. It shouldn't be so obvious. They still fit in.
True. It's just funny how
Yeah.
people assume that all translators are like lefties or whatever. Dude, I'm
Yeah.
as right wing as I can be. So
Okay.
so I don't know. It really depends. Although it is true that the majority of the people that work in this field
Yeah.
are lefties. So
Yeah, it's true. Well, I think you probably have like slightly more lefties that are like slightly less cringe because to work in a field like a lot of the time you have to be okay with porn and that like already takes out a lot of some of the like really cringe ones, but
oh, I
you still get
suppose.
a lot of ones. I mean, I should clarify that I'm pretty lefty too. I'm just like I try to not be lefty in a retarded way, which I mean, I just use the word retarded, so you might understand that I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really care about word policing and shit.
I
But yeah,
mean, neither do I. But at the same time, if I have to put like, it is true that visual novels slash light novels slash the things I work on, they are very misogynistic sometimes, and that is true, bro.
yeah, that
And
is true.
I'm right wing, but it is true. Like it is true,
Yeah.
bro. Like God, there's this segment in Akatsuki, for example, where in the third game where the big okay, spoilers for those who want to read game 3, just you are warned. The big bad of game 3, do you know why he wants to destroy Japan?
Oh
because
no.
because he thinks women need to be put in their place and
Oh
society has
god.
degraded, and ironically that's his reason for destroying the country. I'm like, the first time I read it, I was like, no way, no way, this is actually the thing, right? But it was actually serious, and I lost it.
Wow.
It was-
That's pretty fucking hilarious. I mean, they did make him the villain, so like, it's not necessarily
Yeah.
what the author thinks, but it's still.
Oh no,
Wow.
it's the villain. But then Kaito goes when he's like arguing Kaito about philosophy or whatever about this thing. Kaito is like, okay, bro, women are dumb, sure. However, you shouldn't destroy the country. You know.
Holy shit! I love.
Have you thought that maybe destroying the country to put women in their place is not the right answer?
Yeah, you just need to do it anyways. Oh my god!
I tell
Just
you.
stick to molesting men on the trains instead. Oh god.
It's legit the most statistic thing. There's a reason
Wow.
it's called the meme kamige. So,
Oh yeah. Wow.
but yeah, you got the memo of how it is. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, what I'm trying to get at is that Japanese works are by themselves they are like misogynistic, and they attract certain kinds of crowds, which is understandable. I am that kind of crowd. I enjoy my slightly misogynistic things. You know, it happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But you know, the truth is the truth, right?
The truth is the truth.
And sometimes politics are inserted into translations. Sure, bro, it happens.
Yeah.
I think I haven't inserted politics. Maybe once or twice, but it wouldn't even be politics. There's this segment in game one where Kaito is, but what about my Second Amendment rights or whatever, right? I think I went a little bit insane there, not gonna lie, but I will leave it. I will leave it as it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think I used I think I have a line in Shinimasu that like references cruel and unusual punishment, but like that's like from the actual constitution or some shit. So it's like
based.
It's not really that political. It's just
nice
a thing.
Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, people do sometimes kind of do it, but they like, I mean, like, obviously, I think they like probably delude themselves slightly, but I think a lot of the time when people like insert something, like they feel like it's appropriate, and maybe that's just because all of their friends are like lefty, so we don't understand like how a right-wing person would see that line and like be annoyed, or they're like, it's America, you know. People are like, yeah, fuck everyone on the other political faction. They must never know happiness ever.
Yeah, I mean,
and, like, don't care. That's also possible.
Most of it is just Twitter culture, anyways, right? So,
yeah.
I mean, you get off the internet, and people who read it literally don't care. Just read it.
Yeah. Nobody fucking gives a shit.
Yeah, I mean that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
So.
Extremely.
By the way, when are you releasing Shinimasu, Saka? Come on, we're all been waiting, man.
Yeah, so about that, let's see. First of all, I need to graduate university. Then I need to find a job or like realize what I want to need for a bit.
Yeah.
But before that, I also need to work like 100 lines more translation, what I'm actually getting paid slightly for.
Oh.
Paid fan translation. I will not say what it is because who knows? Maybe somebody will actually know this. But yeah, I have done paid fan translation, not for long scripts, but people, certain people like me, I guess.
Oh, do you think it's morally like okay to do it? I mean, I'm gonna assume yes because you're doing it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you do things that you don't really think are morally okay, but yeah, I think it's like I don't really have any respect for copyright, or honestly, like I'm autistic enough, but like I have a hard time respecting like the author behind the work. I just like see the work on like its own thing, and don't care that a person wrote it. And like occasionally that gets broken when I like actually learn about the author, but like a lot of the time I'm just like, yeah, you wrote this, but I mean, I like what you wrote, not you, so I'll do whatever the fuck. I don't care about your opinion. I only care about like this thing that you wrote, which is, you know, it's kind of extreme, but like that's how I intuitively feel about it, and I can't really change it a lot of the time.
Happens.
But yeah, and also like, you know, copyright, not the greatest invention, and especially if it like stops me from like doing a fan translation, and I don't care. And when it comes specifically to like doing fan translations for pay, I'm like, legally, obviously, like, I mean, all fan translation is illegal anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter, right?
True.
But like, it is like seen as less morally good, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing a service for the community. I know that I'm actually kind of decent at my job, and if I get paid for that, that seems appropriate to me. I have done a service to the community. and I don't think like any of the laws that apply to these really matter or like even should be there. So yeah, I don't think there's really a problem like taking payment for fan translation. Which I don't know if I would have said that before, and I mean you might disagree, which honestly I can see too. But like I don't think there's a problem. I think there's a problem when you're accepting money and your work is like actual shit, or you're just using MTL. At that point, I feel like you're not just disrespecting the author, right? You're disrespecting the actual text that you're translating, which in my very autistic brain is like different. So at that point, I don't like it, but it's mostly because I don't like machine translation. Like it just feels extra, disgusting when someone is also actually charging money for fucking
Yeah.
putting that shit through fucking DeepL. I don't know,
I
maybe
get
doing a few edits. That's disgusting. But if you're taking payment for like real human translations, even if they're not authorized by the company or whatever, I think that's fine, morally at least. Legally, good luck.
Well, I
Don't make it.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. I agree with you actually. No, if you asked me a couple of years ago, maybe I would have been against it. But
yeah,
now the only reason, like I've been offered to do a Patreon many times now.
yeah,
The only reason I don't do it is because one, it would tie me to doing translations more seriously on this thing.
yeah,
Like money ties you. It gives you some responsibility that you will have not at the beginning, right? And I have a job.
mm,
I mean, if I had nothing
yeah,
else to do, then I could consider it. And the second thing is I have a team of people behind my work. It's not just me, right?
yeah,
In
yeah,
your case, it's just you, so you can afford
yeah,
to. You could afford to make a Patreon / get paid nothing, right? But I
yeah,
feel like without the people behind me, I wouldn't be able to release my work in a
mm,
satisfying way. So
yeah.
imagine like thinking about how to distribute the money and who gets what,
Yeah,
and
it's like
yeah, it's just a pain in the ass.
I
So
mean, I've even thought about that. Like, if I ever like manage to sell out one of my translations, like that is going to be such a fucking pain to do.
right, because there's a lot of people involved in the work, right? So
Yeah,
it's a pain.
yeah,
God. Okay, I'm gonna ask one more thing, and then
yeah,
we're gonna cut because we've been like an hour 20 minutes by now. So
yeah, yeah,
we've been at it for a while now. Jeez.
yeah, yeah,
So let me see. I mean, we have a lot of questions I haven't asked because we have been all going on a tirade for a while, right? But
yeah. It's just how we talk to each other. We just read at each other.
oh yeah, we just like to poke fun at the Indonesians, and then one thing leads to the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so let me see. I'll even let you choose EOP's versus GOP's opinion. We have best girl of any visual novel that you played. Why? And then, or is fan translation a thing of the past now? Can it go back to a stage similar to how the scene was 4 or 5 years ago? So you choose. You choose. Well,
I
whatever
guess
tickles your fancy.
yeah, I guess we'll take like the fan translation if it's a thing of the past. And
Sure, sure.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of an old question. I think it's come up a lot of times actually at this point, and I think my answer is kind of similar, which is like it's obviously died down a bit, but it's not as dead as people like want it. Like some people think it is. Like it's still going on. Several like actually decently large titles even get fan translated. But on the other hand, there isn't the same kind of scene, and the official companies have stepped in for a lot of things. So, like, obviously, one role that you can fill is just translate what you're pretty sure won't get translated by an official company. You could also be like, okay, I have severe autism and I don't like this translation. I'm going to fix it. Like the Chaos at Noah people did that, and like I really respect that work because it makes sure that there are less people reading really bad translations, and that feels good for the soul. So that's another. But also like I mean, I mentioned like an obscure doujin game, and a lot of translators have like more obscure things that they would want to work on. Maybe they're a bit shorter as well, so they're easier to do on your own. And like, I think that is I mean, this is a thing. Like, I actually like these things. Some people just don't have any interest in them, and they just want to do the big things, and like, that sucks for them. For me, I think like if you can like these things, I think we're like one of the best things to work on because like you're not likely to get sniped by anyone, and you're like definitely going to like contribute somewhat. Now they are worse in the cloud department, so actually B couldn't work on them ever. But other than that, you know how it is.
Excuse me?
No, I'm sure you could work on something that didn't give you that much clout, B. I'm
No,
sure.
impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, pretty
What
much.
about my attention, Saka? What about my crave to be a bitch on the internet?
Yeah, I know. Let's not mince words. So like sometimes when I was translating things in shinimasu, I was like thinking like, oh, I'm coming. This line would make so many like literal autists mad if they saw how I did it. Like they won't read this, but like, oh my god, it would make them so mad. Oh, I'm coming. So I may have some slight, and I may derive some pleasure from that, but I mean, it's grown less over the years because, like, I don't even talk to like, the normies of the community. Like a lot of times now, like the people hang around for VNs like no Japanese, so it's very different. Well, knowing Japanese doesn't mean you always have good opinions on translation. Now, they do usually get better, but that doesn't mean they get good. But anyways, yeah.
But so basically, it's Jober and it's doomed.
Yeah, it's Java and it's doomed, and the literally zero fan translations will be released in 2024. Every fan translation will have been killed by poison darts from the agents from Nekonyan. That's just how it is.
True. No, it was
And the only reason that I'm not releasing my translation is I know they will target me if I do it. So
true.
yeah, you know how it is.
Literally a CIA glowy target.
But yeah, I think like fan translation has gotten less, but I think there's still a good role for it in the ecosystem, and like also new translators like need practice somehow, and fan translation is a good way to get that practice in.
Yeah.
And as always, and I say to translators, start by translating something small, 2,000 lines, 10,000 lines. You can complete it relatively easily. It's much easier to get someone to translation check, like I don't know, 1,000 lines than your gigantic 30,000 line project. And also make sure that you actually can read things in Japanese before you do it. And for the love of God, just read your game before you start translating it. Look, I know you have autism. I know, but please read it before you start translating it.
Bold of
if
you
you
to
can.
assume that there's TLCs available anymore.
I mean, like, okay. So, like, also, like, try to make friends. Like, I don't know. Okay, I came up through like I had one of my JLP friends, from Fuwanovel back in the day. We were literally talking a Skype group. Like he TLC'd my first translation, and it was like 200 lines. So like he could do it, no problem. So like I don't know. I feel like it should be more possible than it is to like get TLCs, but also it depends. Like a TLC might not want to work with you if you're like not trying or whatever, and like maybe it'll need to be your friend or shit.
Nah,
But
it's just that.
I still think it's relatively like possible. Like I mean, B, you've done TLC at some point. Like obviously,
I do TLC right now, but
yeah.
it's a different. Like I think people view TLC differently from. At least I'm gonna say I'm a special snowflake here, but I think the
Yeah.
concept of TLC should be someone who knows more than you or has more
Yeah.
experience than you, where you occasionally ask X or Y line, right? It's not someone you put in a script to watch every line, right? It must be assumed
Yeah.
that you know Japanese and you know how to translate to a certain degree, right? It's just that
Yeah.
sometimes there are certain lines and where you don't understand the context 100%, and that's when you ask someone for help. And I consider that to be TLC, right?
Okay,
TLC
yeah.
shouldn't
Well,
be someone who is over every line for 2,000 lines, right? Or something like that. In my opinion, that's.
yeah.
But I do that. I do that
I
for
think
certain
that's
people.
actually fair.
I do that for certain
Yeah.
people, and it's completely fine. It's people that have asked me for help, and I'm
Yeah.
fine to help them. But if someone asks me to help in general as TLC, I'm going to tell them exactly what I told you right now, and if they don't like it,
Yeah.
then ask another person. you know. But if
Yeah,
they want availability of, hey, can you help me with this context, this specific line? Sometimes, you
yeah,
know, even if it's like a line a day, I don't care, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's better than just, hey, bro, here, have 5K lines and look at every single line. Like, that's so
yeah.
cringe, man.
I mean, there's a lot of work. I think you can. I think you can actually find. I think there's like different things to gain from it too, and like I definitely think like as a beginner translator, like having someone actually go over your whole thing can probably help a lot. Especially if they like have editing, like writing skills too, so that they can show you like where that like gets problematic. So it's not just like you going like, okay, like this is technically wrong, but like also
Mm-hmm.
like knowing how to word things in a way that makes sense in English, like because you like get retarded at the start and like write things and like not really English, and you have to realize that you should write in English. But yeah, but I don't know, like the advisor function. I think like that one, like not even having an advisor, like asking for like hard lines, that would be like that would feel difficult to me. Like, admittedly, you can do like research online, like Google it in Japanese and try to do that a lot, which does help if you're willing to do that. But also like having people to ask questions to is like really really helpful, and I think people like should try to make friends. In fact, like I've even offered people, and I do this for some people. I mean, I've even done it for you on a few occasions. But yeah, I agree that that kind of concept of TLC, which I would like call maybe an like advisor or something like that, is nice. But I think the benefit is sort of a bit different than like what you get with like someone who does a whole script, because when you get to see like their whole approach. And I guess it depends. Like if the TLC is just like pointing out errors, then it's different too. But if a TLC is like going over like more detail, like trying to have it actually look good on the other end too, not just correct, then I think that like helps in a different way. I mean, you know this. I've done the thing to you.
Yes, to a very smaller scale what you have.
Yeah, like yeah, obviously. Like I think like maybe you can just do that for like I don't know, 100 or 200 lines, and that will like be enough because you like get the lessons, a lot of them, like in that time. I think.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the TLC you have done for me, apart from the
Yeah,
advisory things that you know, you and I apply my vision, right? When I ask you for
yeah,
lines
yeah.
or whatever. However, the other TLC you've done for me is just you abusing me, because like, just telling me that I'm bad and retranslating my work. Oh, I'm actually getting pissed now thinking about it. Oh my god.
I mean, come on. I used 1 or 2 lines. It's okay.
I
I
fucking
didn't.
remember. I remember. Dude, it was the doujin translation where you came into the script and you said, damn, I guess I need to retranslate everything. You retranslated everything, said that it was bad, and just refused to elaborate. And I was like, okay, I just give up, dude. I'm done.
And eventually, we actually did release that, though.
Yeah. I mean, look, were you right? Yes, but I don't like it. I don't like it, dude. I don't like that you were right. That's what I was saying.
That's the true pain of growing, folks. That's how you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I've actually had like a painful experience. For I was applying to edit like a project, which is actually Koyodizo. The translator on that
Oh.
was not good, so like I have some copes about it. But like I did a first draft, which was like honestly kind of cringe. Like I went way too hard on writing like random dumb shit, and then I did like kind of a dry one, but like I didn't take enough risks, I guess. Eventually, he just said like, "Okay, you can be QC." I was like, "Okay." I didn't end up being QC because I mean, in part, I didn't even want to be an editor after I'd sent the second draft, which was like I toned down my improvisation. Let's just say that. And like he was like he didn't even want me to use swear words in the translation. He was like, "We don't use swear words in Japanese."
How dare you?
Oh, by the way, the Korean translator did another translation like several years later, and it's
Really?
like completely different philosophy. Like from what I understand, it's like actually good. Like unlike the Korean work, who's like specifically done like quickly and like literally and not well. Literally, all the sound effects are fucking in the Japanese form still. It's oh my god, it's. But yeah, it's. Still, I had to come to terms with the fact that yeah, actually, my first edit in my script was actually kind of bad, and it hurt a lot. But when I wrote another one, and I think that I learned something from that experience. To be honest, despite how painful it was, and despite my many copes about it, still, I think that's one of the things that you really should be able to do. Just be able to take it.
I mean, you learn one thing, Saka, that this community and all its people are deceased. Perfect literal translations are myth, localizations are joke. We are all pawns
Yeah.
controlled by something greater. Memelations.
Oh yes,
The
simulations.
DNA of the soul.
Oh god, I remember I remember my comment on that one. It was high level. Oh no.
Anyways, okay, let's wrap up because it's been quite long.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll do another episode for sure because bringing this topic of TLC has actually triggered me, and when I'm triggered, I want to talk. But
yeah,
we're at the 1 hour 38 minutes mark, so I think
yeah.
that's a little bit out there. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'm gonna do a funny special effect to close the podcast, if you don't mind.
Yeah, just do it Japanese. Wow.
There you go. That's the Yusuke Hya. And yeah, that's all, folks. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
See you in the next episode.
All right. See you guys.